Hello again. Are you ready for another adventure? Let's get into the essence of yoga. If you were to define yoga, you'd probably say, well, I've heard yoga is harmony of body, mind, and spirit, and it is. And I would say spiritual awakening. You don't know spirit exists, and suddenly you're living in contact and direct awareness of spirit in your life. So that'd be a good thing to say. But obviously, I'm trying to make a point to go to a particular interpretation. Many yogis say, and find it true, that yoga is a path of progressive joy. You go from many emotional states to finding peace and serenity, and gradually joy develops in you. And this joy just gets more and more beautiful as you live your life, year by year. You live in joy. Certainly the joy comes from spirit, from spiritual awareness, and from harmony of body, mind, and spirit. But we're thinking today about the joy factor. How much joy do you presently have, and is it growing? This joy is called Ananda. It's ever new, and it's never boring. I mean, there are some nice feelings that gradually get dull. Joy grows on you and grows in you. So, yoga is a path of joy, progressive joy, developing joy in you. And a lot of people are very earnest in their yoga, but they don't let the joy in. They know a lot about it, but they don't know the essence of it. If you meet a yogi who doesn't know anything about joy or has no joy, they don't know anything about yoga yet. They haven't found out the essence, the spiritual essence, which just abides and gives joyous feedback all the time, joyous inspiration, joyous truth. So our forefathers said we have the right to pursue happiness. What a wonderful insight. Everyone has a right to pursue happiness, and yogis pursue it. And generally, if they succeed in waking up spiritually, in just practicing it with love and light, just be sincere, be earnest with yoga, they get peace, and they get eventually bliss, ecstasy, and then they get this ever-new joy. It's just part of what yoga is all about. So let's think about joy as an essential factor in yoga progress. Serenity, fine. Well, joy will be coming if you have serenity. If you become more and more self-confident or more and more healthy, they're all great. Joy is coming. What more can I say? Well, I'm going to talk quite a bit about it because there's so many factors in yoga and life that lead into finding your joy. Joy can bubble and intoxicate and have all kinds of delight in it, or it can be steady joy like a flowing Ganges, a flowing river. You can feel it here and there in your body. You can feel it all over as joy grows on you. It may start in your heart or in your spine or brain, but one day you'll have joy in all the cells of your body. Joy indicates you have a strong connection with spirit and soul. In addition to making you extremely happy, and people will wonder why you're so happy. They're used to some object or meal or event making you happy, and you're already so happy. but you kind of calm it down. You try not to let people know how happy you are. It's a strong connection that you're having with your own soul, with spirit everywhere. Now, the beauty of joy is it's not just a reward. Joy empowers you to live more and more like a yogi, to have more fortunate experiences of life. It's a big event when joy comes to you, when you understand, don't ignore your joy, let it in. It's a tragedy if you scramble your feelings and lose your joy. If you haven't found ever new, life-transforming joy yet, you're a beginner, even if you've done it 40 years. If you haven't found the joy, you're a beginner. That's just a fact, because joy comes when you're ready for it. And you can study yoga all your life and avoid joy, but why? Joy is part of the package. It's a central factor in yoga realization. And you find people who want to enforce yoga on themselves or their family or other people. And there's this stern ego thing that people do instead of spirit comes in and gives you joy, and this joyous, loving person is sharing yoga instead of some taskmaster. So you're a beginner if you're not aware of the joy of yoga yet. But hopefully you've made a good beginning and your joy is coming. When I was present years ago, an alcoholic asked his psychological counselor, "You tell me it's fun to be sober. That's what you keep telling me. Every day I long for a drink. When does the fun start?" And the counselor said, "Well, it's coming. It's coming." Similarly, you may have started yoga and you're wondering, where is my joy? When is this gift of yoga going to pour down on me? You have to do your part, and then spirit will do its part. You start by shedding tension from your body and turbulence, worry, fear, anxiety, wanting, desiring, with all kinds of emotional antics. You start by shedding that turbulence from your mind and heart. So what do? How do you get going on the path of joy? Shed tension and turbulence from your body, your mind, and your heart. Start forming new habits of being a friend to yourself. Be your friend. Don't be your taskmaster, or don't be your ignorant boss or stubborn boss. As soon as the beginner finds harmony, a state of well-being, which often happens early in your yoga classes, soon the beginner finds harmony, a sense of well-being, and an untroubled mind and heart. That's called peace. These are profoundly satisfying, and the joy hasn't come yet. Even if you get just peace, an untroubled mind and heart, wouldn't that be worth a great deal? But more is coming. As you rise in awareness, let's say you've got this feeling of harmony and well-being developing, you begin to find more love flowing in your heart, more devotion. And this devotion grows into ecstasy, also a beautiful acceptance of yourself. You're centering more and more in your soul, in your true self. So devotion and bliss and quiescence, this centering in yourself, this confidence in your soul, develops nicely within the first few months, hopefully, of your yoga experience. And all this while, as you're developing, you're shedding of the tension and turbulence, the development of harmony, well-being, devotion, love growing in your heart. All this while, joy has been developing in the background. You've sensed it now and then, just moments of extraordinary happiness, extraordinary well-being, extraordinary insight, wonderful coincidences, interplay with nature in some very beautiful way, from the birds or from the beauty. All this while, joy is building up in you. It comes forward when you're ready and fills you. So you have moments when it's not just in your heart or your spine. Ever new joy is just flowing through your being. When will come that blessed day when tears of joy flow from my eyes? We talk about love and bhakti a lot in yoga. Bhakti means devotion for God. A humble, bhakti involves a humility, a humble love and devotion to God. But you know, bhakti, as this love grows, brings great joy with it. We're not just looking for happiness, we're finding it. A lot of people do all kinds of activities and experience weird chemicals looking for joy or looking for escape from their pain. Yoga done sincerely brings great joy and growing joy. Ananda. It's called Ananda. The forefathers of our nation say, it's a universal human right to pursue happiness. You're within your rights. You're not being frivolous when you're being happy, unless you're ignoring or neglecting something you have as a duty. You could pursue happiness in a way that is self-destructive, I suppose. But if you're shedding tension and turbulence and striving and allowing yourself to be a better person, yogis would encourage you and praise you and applaud you. Bravo to you. Your happiness is growing. Good for you. You're happier this year than last year. Yoga brings this experience, not a theory or a concept, actual, in the cells of your being. The experience of ever new, never insipid or boring, or some people fear that joy might be just a distraction. So it's not a distraction. It's the meaning of life you're experiencing in this happiness you're having. As you practice yoga, you should strive, of course, to live in harmony of body, mind, and spirit each day and kind of protect what you're doing with your life, and the joy will develop. I mentioned it often starts in the heart or in the spine or in the brain or in the different centers in your spine, tailbone, sacral area, navel area, in back of the heart, in the chest area, throat, the medulla, top of the neck, where the neck goes into the spine, neck goes into the skull, third eye, top of the head. One of those centers may be the starting point of your joy. But wherever it starts, it will grow if you let it, if you consider this is important, this is worthwhile. And eventually it'll fill your cells, the cells of your body, your whole being, your whole awareness. I'd like you to take a moment to consider, what are your brushes or contacts with joy? Have you had a rapture of joy where you just sit in joy for half an hour or for the morning? Have you had a joy rapture yet, just filled with joy? Or have you had little moments as you live your day and as you develop in yoga where bits of joy just surprise you, occur to you? What is your present history? How much joy have you already begun to experience? I'd like you to think about what is your present status in terms of joy and happiness, in terms of yoga development. So turn me off and consider, please, your history of joy so far, because it's your destiny to live in joy. How are you doing so far? Go ahead. Now, here you are back again. If you know joy at all, you find, I'm having this joy as I'm just doing normal, sometimes boring tasks. Or I'm having joy while I'm really busy. Yes, this joy can abide in you as you live your life and as you do difficult things. When it was time to say goodbye to my mother, who was so wonderful to me, there was joy and love and bliss in the middle of my grief. It was so comforting as I said goodbye. And so it is. As you practice yoga, you'll find your joy is there. There is a joy to being alive and to being in harmony of body, mind, and spirit. The yoga view of life, based on yogis tracing their way back from their individual lives, meditating like, where am I from? Who am I? Why am I here? What is this life about? They go back from their senses and their experiences and their sense of self, called the ego, from their emotional history. They go back within, and they go all the way back to sensing, oh, I'm a spirit. The infinite spirit has individualized, and it's called me. I'm an individualization of spirit. And you sense how spirit manifests everybody, manifests the universe. And you discover I am one person in a vast number of other emanations of spirit called people. 8 billion of us now these days. Who knows? It's only going to go up, we see. So we're wondering, can we feed everybody? We have various challenges, but the infinite spirit is moving and expressing. It's in all of us. It created all of us, sustains all of us. We discover we're individual souls and manifestations of the one spirit. Often we discover we've lived before. We discover past lives. We've discovered we're making a many lifetime journey through time and space as spirit expresses itself in the universe it created. Human life involves the going out from spirit into form, and then the awareness, the gradual awareness, the enlightenment of discovering our spiritual source, our spiritual cause, our spiritual mission. So we, in our awareness, by meditating, return to the source, to the spirit within us, and that journey from, I'm a physical being, but what is supporting and sustaining my physical life? Oh, spirit. So that journey is called yoga, this awakening to your spiritual nature and to what's going on in your individual life, which is not just physical or material. It is, it's more beautiful than that. And in our returning, as we return, we have more and more joy. So the going out from spirit into a form and into an individual name and life, we develop a sense of self. We have our own thoughts and feelings. We have sensations. We have our physical body. We have various innate pressures, self-preservation, procreation. We have the biology of life. As individual beings, we experience one another feeling separate from everybody and wondering perhaps what's going on, how to succeed, how to survive, how to advance. As we go within, we discover, oh, it's all spirit expressing in all these forms, in all these people. And we're here to live at a spiritually aware and awake level, not an ignorant level. We go through a process in daily life called evolution and involution, which are important terms in yoga. Evolution means we learn by trial and error how to have a more happy, fulfilling life, and we learn by trial and error and often perplexity, we have questions. We're beginning to sense we're spiritual beings and that there's something more to life than survival and death. Evolution, trial and error, the way of learning about who we are and how to survive and how to thrive through trial and error. But then there's involution. And involution is insights that we're spiritual beings. We have experiences that reveal another point to life, that there's a whole dimension called spirit that we're ignorant of in our normal sense life, mental, emotional life. So evolution and involution, we do both. Trial and error, learn about who we are, what's going on, and how to have a more fulfilling life rather than a miserable one. Trial and error, but also insight, also a sense of soul, sense of intuition, sense of well-being coming from deep within. So as the people we are out here, we're experiencing trial and error, we're experiencing occasional insight, and as a result of practicing yoga, we get a lot more of this involution thing. We experience again and again as we go along, first a bit of peace, but eventually joy, love. We're homeward bound in our awareness. We're going to be able to live as awake, spiritually awake persons instead of spiritually ignorant persons. Usually what happens in our evolution and involution, there's a stimulus, there's a crisis quite often, or the death of somebody, or the loss of a job. There's usually some event in life that propels us, just forces us to find meaning and find out who we are. We can't just go on doing an automatic, mechanical life, thinking the physical world's the only reality. We become propelled to find meaning, find out who we are, a true identity, find our soul, our core consciousness. We want to find our source. So there's a call that goes out, usually due to some propelling event. As we're evolving and involving, there comes usually a desire or a mission to, I gotta know who I am and what happiness is and what I'm about, and what other people are about. What's it all about? So there's often a call to turn spiritward and explore yoga or some other spiritual subject. The call to go within starts to bless your life. You're much more interested in things you never cared about. Now you're caring. The going out and being ignorant, losing our awareness of who we are in matter, makes us blind to soul. We're sure that soul and spirit don't exist. This going out into matter, into sense consciousness, ego consciousness, this is called avidya. Ignorance, spiritual ignorance. And the way of ignorance is very often we behave ignorantly and get into all kinds of pain and trauma and loss and highs and lows, and we have our personal crisis or series of crises. But this beginning to turn within and find our way to our soul and spirit, the reality of awakening to spirit everywhere, this flight home, which can be swift, this homecoming draw, makes us more and more conscious of spirit, more and more happy. It's called vidya, the way of truth, the way to discover the spiritual truth of life. Vidya is the way of enlightenment, it's the way of freedom, it's the way of joy. And so joy is very much part of homecoming, becoming spiritually aware. You can do this working with avidya and discovering the way home, vidya, by evolution alone. You can just trudge and gradually come to these conclusions, or you can go within and discover what's going on deep within you. And you can practice vidya practices. You can do things in yoga. Yoga is all about vidya. Not entirely. It's about how to express spirit in the world too. But vidya is becoming aware that you're a spiritual being. And so joy comes. Joy is part of it. Do you feel joy? Do you have joy? Do you have joy every day? Are you having joy now? You can take many lives of moral living and eventually make it through trial and error, or you can take a shortcut. You can do yoga, the way of joy. So, this is all beautiful. We could quit here because we've made our main point. But perhaps you have a different nature than other people. Perhaps you're an intellect. You have a natural calling to jnana yoga, the yoga of wisdom. So you develop through jnana yoga an insight. You compare various options in life. You choose the best option again and again. You discriminate between what is real and what is false and what is just a temptation versus an opportunity. You make your mind and your awareness more keenly concerned about a constructive life and constructive thought and constructive feeling until one day you discover spirit. And you have great joy as you become wiser. So jnana yoga is a path of joy. It's not normally called that. It's called the path of wisdom, but the wisdom brings great joy. Raja yoga generally is attuning your will with a higher will you're beginning to discover and sense. You're sensing spiritual will, and you meditate in such a way as to attune your little will with the will of God and live a life that's constructive, live a life that's helpful to others, that's full of service, and this life is full of joy. Raja yoga, path of joy. Karma yoga, yoga of service. You begin each day in a simple way. I dedicate the work I'm doing today to God. I dedicate it, everything I do today. This is for you, Lord. I'm doing this for you. That's how you start out. And as you go along, you become less and less self-centered. And you begin to feel love as you serve. You begin to feel one day you're an instrument and that God and Spirit within you is doing this service. That when you're serving, Spirit is expressing God's love and light through you to the people you're serving. And that's karma yoga. And it's a way of enlightenment. It's a way of joy. Bhakti yoga, you love God so much, the joy comes. The joy fills you. You and God have a relationship. You're relating to God like a fellow being, your friend or your divine beloved in one way or another, your partner. God says we become partners with God, furthering creation. You're one of God's creative partners, furthering all creation. Bhakti yoga. Yoga of devotion is also then a way of joy. There's great joy. I could give you many examples, just a couple come to mind. Girish Ghosh was a famous theatrical actor and agent, producer. He loved to drink, didn't think he could stop. And Ramakrishna said, well, when you drink, think of me. Every time you drink, just think of me. And Girish was full of joy, thinking of Ramakrishna and didn't need any more liquor. He became a great saint from a hopeless alcoholic, but he had a lot of talent in the drama department, but he became a great saint. In fact, his house, I don't know if it's still the case, but when I was in India, I wondered, why is the road curving around this little house? It was Girish Ghosh's house, and he was being honored. Rather than knock his house down, they made a road go around his house. How would you like that to happen to your house? It happened to Girish. Another fellow into whiskey, couldn't stop. He did his Kriya beads. He had beads that he practiced Kriya yoga with in front of his fireplace. So a bottle on one side and his Kriya beads in the other side in his hand. He would just do the Kriya practice and take a drink of whiskey whenever he wanted. And one day he said to the whiskey, I don't need you anymore. And he threw the whiskey bottle in the fireplace and was freed from his alcoholism. So joy comes, and joy fulfills. You already have joy. You're just allowing it to grow in you, spread. Well, I think I've said enough. I've got more to say, but I'm looking at my notes. I think the video stream as you go home. Yeah, let me just put this in. I've more or less said everything that can be said or that needs to be said. But usually the joy doesn't come right away. It starts as peace, serenity. It's a growing happiness. I mean, one day your bliss, even bliss, is not joy yet. You have ecstasy in your body that's preparing the way of joy. And then comes this bursting joy, ever new, never boring, wondrous connection with God. Character development, attuned life, all of these come. Humility, sweetness, faith, devotion, freer and freer joy come along. It's important to consider, where is the stream of your life going? Are you still going out more and more into the physical, material world with the sense that that is the only reality? Or are you coming inward, coming home? That's something that you and the Lord have to work out. And the sign that you're coming home is, of course, this peace and this bliss, but mainly the coming joy, the growing joy. The more ego you have, the less joy you get. The more soul-centered you are, the more joy you get. So the indicators are said. I've said them. I urge you to practice yoga the way that you love. And I'm assuring you that as peace and bliss come along, let the joy in. Receive a life of progressive joy. Follow the trail of joy. Find joy in your yoga practice. Find joy in being alive. God bless you and your joy.